My idiot friend started peeing himself outside English class. Dude, I'm so nervous for this presentation. If I screw it up, I'ma have to repeat junior year again. I slapped Rex. You got this, bro. Just try to picture everyone naked or something. He immediately started grinning at my chest, like he was already picturing me shirtless, and I pinched the bridge of my nose because I had no idea how this was about to go down. We walked in, and I sat down, and Rex went to the front of the room because he was first to present. This is my report on The Emperor's New CC Loathes. He was so nervous that his voice cracked reading the title of his project, but then he looked up and his eyes started darting from person to person, and I could tell he was picturing them naked. I thought Rex was going to keep presenting, but he jabbed a finger at the front row and screamed, "Put some clothes on! Y'all freaky as hell!" I buried my face in my hands because I couldn't believe Rex had taken my advice so literally. I whispered to myself, "Ain't no way, bruh." Rex backed into the whiteboard, pointing at kids one by one. "Why is nobody wearing clothes? Have you no shame? Even the teacher?" I turned to the class to see everyone's reactions, and every kid was grinning ear to ear. One whispered, "He's so committed to the project. This is cinema." My jaw dropped because the entire class thought this was part of his project, when in reality, he was tweaking out. I turned to our teacher to see her reaction, but she just tilted her head, tapping her pen against her grading system, looking more impressed than ever. "Rex, is this part of your presentation?" Rex's mouth opened, and I could instantly tell that he was going to say something stupid. I shot up. "He's presenting the Emperor's new clothes. In the short story, everyone pretends the naked Emperor is dressed until one kid tells the truth. He's making you live it out." She stared at Rex while he slowly lowered his finger. My idiot friend started peeing himself that he was going to say something stupid. I shot up. "He's presenting the Emperor's new clothes. In the short story, everyone pretends the naked Emperor is dressed until one kid tells the truth. He's making you live it out." She stared at Rex while he slowly lowered his finger. I've seen 10 years of book reports and nobody has ever thought to perform it instead of just reading. I'm very impressed. That's an A+, Rex. The kids started cheering because everyone knew Rex wasn't the brightest, and this was his highest grade yet. But she raised one hand. "Tomorrow's presentations will be graded against this standard." Rex slid into the desk beside mine and whispered, "Bro, what's an emperor?" For 10 years straight, an old man would come into the diner every day at 8 a.m. sharp, sit in the corner, and order gumbo with no cracker. All of us would gossip. Why doesn't he talk to anyone? Do you think he's hiding something? But none of us were ready for the truth. And one day, at 8:15 a.m., when he still hadn't shown up, I was extremely worried. By noon, he'd missed his first bowl in 10 years, and I knew I had to do something. I untied my apron mid-shift and jogged the 4 blocks to his building. When I got to the front door, I knocked. "Earl, it's Ray from the diner. I'm just checking in." There was no response, so I pressed my ear to the door. Inside, I could hear a weak voice repeating, "Help," over and over. My heart was pounding, so I pressed my face to the window, and through a gap in the curtain, I saw a dark blood stain soaked into the carpet. I instantly started slamming myself into the door frame. "I'm coming in, Earl." And when the door finally split open, Earl was on the floor between the couch and the coffee table, lips gray, one arm bent wrong beneath him. "Fell last night," he whispered. "Knew you'd come." I called 911 kneeling on that carpet and held his hand until the sirens arrived. At the hospital, a paramedic pulled me aside. If he spent another night on that floor, he'd be gone. You finding him is what saved him. A nurse stopped me at the desk with a clipboard. "Who should we call?" "Family. Emergency contact." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. I realized I'd spent 10 years gossiping about what Earl was hiding, but the truth is, he was never hiding anything. He was just alone, and his gumbo routine was the only thing that saved him. No, it's just me. From there, every evening I brought him gumbo with no cracker, and before they discharged him, the regulars passed a jar down the counter and rented him the apartment right beside the diner so we'd know if anything happened to him again. On his first morning home, Earl eased onto his stool and grinned at me. "Gumbo, hold the cracker." For 10 The lawyer pointed at a picture of my inflatable dragon and told the judge it was the demon Baphomet. "Your Honor, this thing signals evil every single night with the defendant's purple lights." I sat there in my one good suit, trying to figure out how an inflatable dragon had turned into a lawsuit that could cost me thousands of dollars. But at least I had come prepared with doorbell footage that made me a lot less nervous about what was about to happen. The neighbor got up next and wiped her eyes with a tissue. "My son can't sleep because the dragon watches him from his window." Her lawyer nodded like it was the saddest thing he'd ever heard. word, and I rolled my eyes. He kept going. Tell the court about the fog machine. She let out a dramatic wail. It's not fog, it's spirit smoke, calling something in from the other side. Then she pulled out her phone. And ever since he turned that thing on, I can't win a Wordle. My 47-day streak is gone. The judge just blinked at her, so her lawyer jumped back in, holding up a photo of my porch lights. These purple lights form a pentagram when they hit the dragon's scales. I almost laughed out loud, but the judge shot me a look, so I bit my tongue. When it was finally my turn, I didn't have a fancy lawyer, just a folder of receipts. The dragon's name is Puffy McScales, not Baphomet, and I bought him at a party store for $80. Then I hooked my phone up to the big screen. Also, here's a video my doorbell took over the weekend. I smiled as the video showed my neighbor's son and 3 friends climbing all over the dragon, laughing and taking pictures with it. This is her son enjoying my Halloween decorations. The judge leaned forward. Ma'am, is this true? Her face went red and she started stuttering. So the judge banged his gavel. Case dismissed. I left the dragon up an extra week just to picture her face every time she drove by. The lawyer pointed. A man climbed onto our school bus with a knife, and the first thing he heard was a slow clap from the back row. Confused, he screamed at our driver, Mrs. Worley, to keep driving and not stop for anyone. A kid leaned forward. Nice ski mask. Did you cut the holes out yourself, or did your mommy help you? The whole bus laughed. He waved the knife around. Shut up and no one gets hurt. Your hand is shaking so hard I can't tell if that's a threat or a dance move. He stepped toward the kid who said it, and 20 voices started talking at once. Oh, he's walking now. Everybody watch out. He spun around trying to find who said what, but insults were coming from every direction. Bro seriously hijacked a bus with no plan, no getaway car, and a Walmart knife. This is the saddest crime I've ever seen. We wouldn't let him finish a single sentence. Are you robbing us for money? All I have is an EBT card and a bus pass. He pointed his knife at Mrs. Worley, and the whole bus went silent. A kid stood up. You can threaten us all you want, but if you point that thing at Mrs. Worley again, we're gonna have a real different conversation. He laughed nervously and asked what a bunch of kids were going to do about it. A girl said, we're on the bus to the school for troubled teens. Half of us are here for assault, and the other half won't say why. Mrs. Worley looked at him over her shoulder. Honey, I've watched these kids make grown men cry over smaller things than pointing a knife at me. He lowered the knife. Smart choice. She brings us donuts on Fridays. We protect what matters. His face twisted, and he shoved toward the kid with the knife raised. Mrs. Worley pulled over, stood up, and stepped between them. That's enough now. He grabbed her arm and shoved her into the dashboard. For half a second, the bus was completely silent. Then a kid came over the seats like something feral, and 3 others were right behind him. The guy didn't have time to turn around before someone hit him in the back of the knees and he went down. The knife skittered under the seats, and kids were on top of him before he could reach for it. Someone had him in a headlock while someone else pinned his arms. A girl sat on his legs and went through his pockets just to add insult to injury. Mrs. Worley pressed the emergency button. I need police at my location. Tell them there's no rush. The situation is handled. The guy was crying. Please get off me. I can't breathe. A kid leaned close to his face. You should have thought about that before you touched Mrs. Worley. When the cops showed up, they found him tied to a seat with shoelaces and snot running down his face.